On this episode of Under the Radar Michigan, we're in Traverse City for some fat tire biking. We'll make a house call on a chef and eat some sandwiches that are so good you'll miss them when they're gone. Then we hit Mount Clemens for a place that's so weird you'll love it. We'll also have some big fun at a tiny bar and take you to a restaurant that puts Michigan right where your mouth is. Get ready to explore the cool people, places, and things that make Michigan a great place to be.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing and Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities. Also by the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. The Komen Race for the Cure series raises significant funds and awareness for the fight against breast cancer, celebrates breast cancer survivorship, and honors those who have lost their battle with the disease. More info at komen.org. Also in part by the Brides Project, a charitable bridal shop specializing in high-quality donated gowns. All proceeds help families touched by cancer at the Cancer Support Community of Greater Ann Arbor. Learn more at thebridesproject.org. Support for Under the Radar Michigan comes from Bigby Coffee, celebrating 17 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, coffee mugs, and coffee by the pound are available in-store and online. Locations at biggby.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar Michigan.
Hey folks, we're back in Traverse City. And why Traverse City? We love Traverse City. What's there not to love about Traverse City? It's Traverse City! Traverse City really is one of those Michigan cities that has everything. They've got an exploding food culture, thriving business climate, an international wine and beer scene, and it's surrounded on all sides by an incredible natural paradise. And as Goldilocks would say, it's not too big and not too small. It's just right. Traverse City is located in the northwest part of Michigan's Lower Peninsula. When we got to town, we dropped anchor at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. And why? Because you know what they say, when you're at a nice place, it's nice to stay in a place that's nice. And this place is, well, nice. Now, for those of you who embrace winter and aren't afraid to get out and have some fun in the snow, have we got a new sport for you. It's called Fat Head Biking, and it's catching on all over northern Michigan.
Fat tire.
Fat tire biking?
Yeah.
Can I still do it?
Of course.
Yes! Fat tire bikes are just what they say they are. They're bikes with fat tires. But when it comes to riding in the winter, they make all the difference in the world. And when it comes to hooking yourself up with a fat tire bike in Traverse City, Jason Lowitz at Einstein Cycles is the man to see.
Well, now I know why they call these fat tire bikes, because obviously the tires are fat. But where did this sport come from?
I believe it started in Alaska.
Makes sense.
A lot of snow, really cold. And they needed wider tires for the snow.
Well, how did you get into it?
Snowy here, too.
Oh, yeah, it snows in Traverse City. I just know.
Yeah.
Well, what does a bike like this feel like when you're on it?
In the snow, it actually goes on hard-packed snow.
Yeah.
And it just smooth, floats. Fun to ride in the sand, too.
Oh, so it's not just a winter sport?
Nope.
Who is into this sport? Is it growing right now?
Anyone that can pedal, it's definitely growing.
This is one sport I was dying to try. And being an avid cyclist and all-around cool dude, I could tell that Jason couldn't wait to hit the trail with me. And speaking of the trail, it was only a short 7-minute car ride from Einstein's.
How come I'm all dressed to the nine? How come
It's warm out. It's 29. I might even go t-shirt for this one.
You're you have northern Michigan blood. I have southern Michigan blood. Wow, it's beautiful up here in the winter.
Yeah, where we're going, it's really, really nice. We're going to the Vasa Trailhead.
Is this a hilly trail?
No, well, where we're going is a 3-kilometer loop, and we'll see what the snow conditions are for it.
Awesome.
We're there.
Let's get her done. Do it.
Once we got out on the trail and in the deep snow, I was simply amazed.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I knew this would be cool, but I didn't think it'd be this cool. And it's cool.
It's cool.
The nicest thing about this, too, is if I do fall, it's snow.
Yeah, exactly.
What a difference it would make hitting snow. That's where we're staying tonight, the Grand Traverse Resort. I can see my room from here. Woo!
It's a big hill now.
I can do it! We can't talk now, Eric. We're breathing. No time for talking.
You really punched it at the base of that climb there. Now you're gonna pay for it.
I know. I'm out of steam. How much more hill?
A couple miles.
Okay, I'll see you back at the shop.
So if you're looking for a new winter sport, fat tire bikes are a blast. And believe me, you'll pick it up quick. After all, it's just like riding a bike. Have you ever had a meal that was so good it's almost like you went to the cook's house and had it? No? Well, you're gonna now. Come on. It's the cook's house. And not only is it actually in a house, this funky, cool little restaurant is serving some of the best food you'll find this side of the galaxy. Chef Eric Patterson, along with his wife Teresa and Chef Jennifer Blakesley, have created an intimate dining experience that will make you feel like you're part of their foodie family. What brought you to Michigan?
My business partner, who was my sous chef in Las Vegas, she knew that my wife and I were looking around different places in the country to open a restaurant like this. She was raised in Traverse City, so she suggested Traverse City. I actually had to do some research and discovered that the area has everything we were looking for.
Your whole philosophy is local, sustainable cuisine.
Right. The philosophy stemmed from us being chefs and not environmentalists. In fact, I didn't really know much about the whole farm-to-table movement prior to us moving here. I wanted to do a farm-to-table idea because it just makes sense as a chef. If I can get food that's grown 5 miles away and brought to me when it's at its extreme freshest, it means it's at its best. We later on discovered, as time was going on, people started talking about us being leaders on the farm-to-table movement up here. I had to actually find out what the hell that movement was. Because it wasn't our intention. We just wanted to produce the best food we could, and it only made sense to do it with food that is grown by small farmers, small producers.
Well, the point you made says it best. I mean, the stuff that's local, that's close by, that's fresher, makes better food.
Better tasting food, it's healthier for you. I've always preached simplicity in food. But when we moved up here and we started to work with food that is so incredibly fresh and is so incredibly flavorful, I actually had to even go more to the simple side of cooking so that the product would have an opportunity to just speak for itself. It's that good.
In all the conversations I've had with chefs across the state, I don't think I've ever met anybody more passionate or dedicated to his craft, his staff, or his patrons.
Actually, I don't even like to order here. I want them to make me food, and I'm good with it.
They emphasize local and sustainable. They plug into the community as far as their ingredients. Simple things, but they make exotic dishes out of them.
We have never had a bad meal. We absolutely love it.
It's kind of that unique place where you really feel like you're walking into somebody's home and really sitting down with family to have a unique meal that you're just not going to find just off the main street. And I love that.
They seem something that's simple, but every time I'm surprised at how much flavor and everything's in the dishes.
I guess what your philosophy is, instead of getting an idea and looking for ingredients for your idea, you take your ingredients and then come up with an idea from that.
Yeah, no, well, my food flows from just kind of what it is that we're working with wants to be. I mean, it's nothing like I don't take on some weird metaphysical thing that, the carrots talk to me.
When the carrots start talking to you,
they do. I back off the scotch at that point.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, every dish has something it wants to be, and it's my approach to just allow the dish to kind of become what it is on its own. And because of the incredible ingredients that we work with, I find that if I try to get too much in the way of it and try to impose too much of my own wants into it, it actually doesn't come out as good. One of the great chefs in the 80s and 90s, Marco Pierre White, he said that the cook needs to back off and let Mother Nature be the true artist.
Well, one thing, dish, and glass led to another, and before we knew it, we were full, filled with great stories, and already planning our return. So if you want a great Michigan-made meal, just walk right into the cook's house. Heck, you don't even have to knock. Every time we come to Traverse City, we come to this place. So I thought, it's about time we came to this place. And this place is Folgarelli's Market, a foodie's paradise for gourmet supplies, great wine, fresh roasted coffee, and sandwiches that you'll actually miss when they're gone. Derek Newman and his family have been part of the Traverse City food community for over 35 years. So how long has your family been in the food business?
In the food business. My grandfather was in the food business since 1942. So he was based down in Detroit, Michigan, Lombardi Food Service. It was a wholesale company. And then we migrated north. My mom and sister and dad and I moved up here in 1972.
Like a nomadic tribe or something?
Kind of something like that. We just kind of...
Wanderers?
Yeah, just moved north. Gotta say, we moved up here in 72. My grandfather retired in 76 and followed us up here. My grandma and grandpa did.
The first time I walked in here, it was such a trip because you walk in the building and what's the difference in elevation from the back of the building to the front? It's got to be like 3 feet.
I've never officially measured it. I'm saying at least a foot, because I know right where we're standing right now, it drops about 4 inches in 6 feet.
But it makes it feel authentic.
It is. I mean, it's you know, our store, we kind of call it an old world store, if you will, and the building fits it perfectly.
What do you think your place means to this community?
Well, I think it's important to the community. I mean, being that we've been here as long as we have, and certainly within the last 8 to 10 years with the Food Network and other stations like that have really helped show people how to cook at home. You know, so all these unique ingredients that we carry, it's important to them, and it's not something you can find everywhere.
This is where we always end up when we come to Traverse City to film, is we always end up here getting your sandwiches. You guys have incredible sandwiches. How did you stumble on that?
You know, this is kind of a fun story. My grandfather, when he was still running the business, we had a limited selection of sandwiches on the menu, about 10 to 15. And my grandpa's thing was it was meat and cheese and dressing. There's no lettuce or tomato in here. And you got it his way or it was the highway, and that was the way it was.
As you can imagine, all this sandwich talk has me hankering for, well, a sandwich. So time to spend some quality time behind the counter with Bray McCabe. Now, I know you must be the sandwich master here because I noticed that there's actually a sandwich on the menu named after you.
There sure is. It was recent. I've been fighting for it for a while. It took me about a year to get it up there, but...
I want a Godfather, because I had that last time I was here and I loved it. So how do you make a Godfather?
We're gonna start with our ciabatta roll. Really good. Bake them all fresh every morning.
How do you become a sandwich master?
Well, I showed up here, like I'd moved up here. I showed up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I started working here at 9:30 the next day. And I didn't know anything.
Wait a minute, you came in here at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I pulled into Traverse City 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
My first shift here was 9:30 the next day.
Seriously?
Yep.
Well, in the interest of time, and me enjoying free samples, we're not going to give away all of Bray's secrets. But let me tell you, as usual, the sandwiches he made for us were well worth a return trip. And speaking of which, another part of our Folgarelli's tradition is that we always take stuff home to the family. So I did a little last-minute shopping. Ah, pasta. That's a nice. Need some of that. Well, I had just about everything I needed, and then suddenly, it happened.
Pomodoro, No!
Oh boy.
Hey, come here.
So, if you're looking for a place that'll tickle your taste buds, Folgarelli's is a fantastic find. And if you see that can I dropped, just leave it on the counter for me.
Oh boy.
I guarantee we'll be back here soon. Just like I guarantee we'll be back in Traverse City soon. And why? Well, for gosh sakes, it's Traverse City. Mount Clemens, another Michigan city without a mountain, but that's okay. This place is pretty cool. Mountain? No. Cool people, places, and spaces? Absolutely. Mount Clemens is another Michigan city that feels good just driving into. It's also the county seat of Macomb County, so it's got that historic big city feel, but it's still a size that's easy to explore. Mount Clemens is located in southeast Lower Michigan, just a half-hour northeast of Detroit. Well, before I started my expert exploration, I spent some time with Christine Cotilla, aka CK. She's known far and wide for her genuine love of Mount Clemens. I've heard from quite a number of humans that you're like the #1 cheerleader for Mount Clemens.
Professional cheerleader, yes.
Why is that?
I think it's such a great town. There's so much to do here. Not only with going out in the evening, but during the day there's lots of little shops that are open that are unique to our city. And it just has a really nice big town vibe in a little city.
I noticed that because the architecture is big city,
Yes.
but it's all very condensed in a nice walkable little package.
Yes, exactly.
Now you're a local promoter,
I am.
so is this a great place to go to eat or to?
Oh, absolutely. There's so many different restaurants, whether you want Cajun gumbo, whether you want chicken wings, whether you want Italian, whatever you're craving, you can come down here in Mount Clemens and you can find it anywhere.
Right, is it a great place to live?
It's a fantastic place to live. It's so much fun to be able just to walk downtown,
Right.
have your fun, and walk home.
Well, what gives Mount Clemens its personality?
The people. The people watching is spectacular here.
Right.
You can walk down the street and you get to know everybody.
Mhm.
And so it just adds to that nice small town feeling.
Right. You think I'm cool enough to live here?
I think you are.
Listen, you just met me. Wait till you get to know me.
Oh, I've seen the show. You're all good.
Oh, thanks, thanks.
Well, thanks to my new friend CK, I was totally ready to start exploring Mount Clemens. And where to start? Well, you know me.
Let me ask you something. Are you weird? Yeah, me too. That's why this place is perfect for us.
Even if you're not weird, you will be when you leave this place. It's a wonderfully strange collection of vinyl records, books, art, and well, just plain cool, weird retro stuff. And it's all the doing of this guy, Dave Taylor, Mount Clemens' favorite purveyor of the crazy cool.
Okay, Dave, I've only been in here a short time, and I am convinced you are weird. But I mean that as a compliment.
You've been here a little long.
You're an actor, you're an artist, you're a musician, but when did you start collecting stuff, weird stuff?
Well, when you're weird, you start collecting things when you're very young.
But you never gave anything away. You still have all your stuff.
Oh, I know. I have a warehouse full of stuff.
Well, how did you get into this business?
Well, my wife started the bookstore. She worked for Borders for almost 18 years, and when they closed, she woke up one morning at 4 a.m., woke me up and said, hey, when we both wake up, tell me if this is a good idea. And it was, do you want to open up a used bookstore? And so I said, sure. And with that being there, I was like, hey, maybe I could start selling some of this junk
Stuff,
that I got.
Just the bizarre eye candy in this place is wonderful. Oh, I didn't see the Gumby. It's wonderful. It's just...
You know, actually, I used to get that a lot, where people would come on in the store,
yeah,
and they would just stand here and they would look, and they would turn around and they'd go, okay, you've been sitting over there, but yet I was just looking over here, but that wasn't there when I looked before. And it's like, oh, it was there. It's just there's so many things to... Because that's why I don't get when people just come in and they look around, they go, wow, this place is really cool, and they walk out.
Right.
And then other friends will go, you didn't see half of any, you know, you have to spend time in here and really look.
Yeah.
There's a lot of memory lane kind of things, so.
Yeah. How long have you been here?
A year and a half.
Year and a half? I think you're going to do fine.
Yep.
As weird as you are.
People like weird.
I'm telling you, this place had everything a genuine weirdo like me could want. I even found the complete idiot's guide to being a good TV show host. Bonus. When all was said and done, Dave and I had a great conversation, some much-needed playtime, a few laughs, and I even picked out a few essentials.
Hey, Dave, I found some stuff I might kind of have to want here.
Okay. There you go. See what you got here. Yo-yo. Dinosaur head. The Blue Viking.
Well.
I Am Bunny, hockey fights, and At Home with Denny.
Yep.
At Home with Denny. It's a little weird, Tom.
Yeah. Huh?
So if you're tired of the usual, enter Dave's world of the unusual at Weirdsville Records. It's a record store and a whole lot of weird more.
If you love Michigan and you love food, here's a place that brings the best of both right to your table.
The Mitt Restaurant is the place you really want to go if you want to put your love of Michigan where your mouth is. It's all things Michigan, from the food to the furniture. And owner Ken Leonard is walking the walk when it comes to truly serving local.
You describe your food as Michigan comfort food. Now, how is that different from just regularly comfortable food?
Well, it really was influenced by everything that I grew up with. And I realized a long time ago that our cuisine here in Michigan is very unique, and it's all very much comfort food. It's home cooked, you know, straight farm to table kind of stuff.
Didn't you say, like, I read that 95% of the stuff you serve here is all Michigan grown?
Yep, it's worked out fabulously.
Is that a challenge for you to having to use mostly and almost all Michigan products?
I thought it would be, but honestly, it hasn't been. I mean, like I said, once I opened that door and we developed that idea, people came to me. And so I didn't have to do so much homework going out and finding all these things because people were knocking on my door.
What is it you love so much about the state?
I chose to stay here when other people left, and I think that's important. It's a very deep sense of pride.
What do you like about the Mount Clemens area?
Mount Clemens is a great community the business community down here is so strong. It's a very small city, geographically speaking. But you have this great core group of business owners that just have that same civic pride that brought this place about. They care. They want us to be here. We want to be here. Everybody works together.
After just a few minutes with Ken, you get a real appreciation for the culinary commitment he's made to Michigan. He's doing it right here in Mount Clemens. And after just a few bites of your Michigan comfort food, you'll be reminded why the Mitt Restaurant really is a great place to be. If you're the kind of person that likes to keep your friends close and your beer even closer, have I got a place for you. Frank's Eastside Tavern is unusual because it's a tavern that's in Frank's house. You heard right, it's in his house. Well, actually, it's down in his basement. And believe it or not, they've been serving adult beverages down there for more than 100 years. Frank, I gotta ask you, how did you pull off putting a bar in your basement?
It was here when I bought it.
Oh, you bought this, but you bought the bar.
Bought the bar.
You don't play darts down here, do you?
No, I can't.
It's too close.
No, you can't play no darts there.
What's the history of this place?
It's been since in 1909.
1909?
Yeah, it used to be, it was a speakeasy, but they dug this basement out by hand. This was no basement, it was just a crawl space. Yeah. They dug it out, and then Grandma and Grandpa made a barrel of beer and sell it for 2 cents a glass.
I understand your hamburgers are really good. Why are they so good?
Well, when I started here, when I bought the place, it was dead. It was not hardly any business. So I said, I'm going to start a euchre game. There's a euchre game. Everybody playing cards there, There's nobody sitting at the bar. They're all playing the euchre, Put some onions on it and butter. Yeah. What do you do? And I'm find some hamburgers. Oh, make me one too. And that's how the hamburgers started.
That's how it started? This is something to see.
I never had seen a basement like this yet.
No, and it's legit. It's a real bar.
Yeah. There you go.
This place gives the phrase up close and personal a whole new meaning. And it means a lot to the folks who come here. It seems like the kind of place where you're here once and everybody knows your name.
You got that right.
How are you going to forget Hammer?
Well, this bar is special. It's a family bar, a working man's place.
It's just a ball. Everybody's getting into everyone's conversations, and you'll never leave here sad, that's for sure.
Can I be a new regular?
Absolutely. Only a stranger but once.
To have a good time at Frank's Eastside Tavern, all you have to do is let down your hair, walk down the stairs, and you're instantly family. It's real people, really small, and it's really a lot of fun. It's the kind of place that they instantly make you feel like you belong. And speaking of belonging, if you're looking for a cool Michigan city where you can be yourself and everyone will love you for it, you belong in Mount Clemens. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got more fun to finish at Frank's. Woohoo! Huh? Oh, boy, have you ever gone to somebody's website and you get there and it's kind of disappointing? Well, you should go to utrmichigan.com, because if you've never been there before, you won't know what to expect, so you can't be disappointed. You can go to our visitor's guide and find out places we've been, tell us where to go. You can jump to our Facebook page or even find out where to get a hat like mine, huh? So go to utrmichigan.com, and I promise you will not be disappointed. Watch. Ha-ha! I love it.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing and Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities. Also by the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. The Komen Race for the Cure series raises significant funds and awareness for the fight against breast cancer, celebrates breast cancer survivorship, and honors those who have lost their battle with the disease. More info at komen.org. Also in part by the Brides Project, a charitable bridal shop specializing in high-quality donated gowns. All proceeds help families touched by cancer at the Cancer Support Community of Greater Ann Arbor. Learn more at thebridesproject.org. Support for Under the Radar Michigan comes from Bigby Coffee, celebrating 17 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, coffee mugs, and coffee by the pound are available in-store and online. Locations at biggby.com. Closed captioning for Under the Radar Michigan is made possible by Shamrock Travel in downtown Rochester. Shamrock Travel, providing complete travel services right here in Michigan for over 20 years.